Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? You know what it is. Your boy Rex Soprano in the building, DOAGH, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Final Fight Open. And today we are taking a look at Final Fight 3 for the Super Nintendo. Now, what I just need you to do, just follow along with the story, and I'll try to fill in the blanks where they need to be filled in. Now, what we are currently in the storyline of Street Fighter is that Final Fight 3 takes place right after Street Fighter Alpha 3's events that have finished and done and taken place right before the preparation for the Second World Warrior tournament, which is Street Fighter 2. Now, currently in the story of Final Fight anyway, is that after the events of Final Fight 2, the destruction of Van Gear left a power vacuum within the underworld of Metro City. All the games in Metro City fought it out, and in the end, the Skull Cross gang is the game that reigns supreme. Fast forward a couple of months after that beating took place in Final Fight 2, God comes back. And this explosion happens and you enter Lucia. Now, for the most part, you can ignore this because in the Japanese version, Lucia already knows that going, so you take that for what it is. Now, we're going to get into a couple of things. Now, as far as differences between versions of the game, the Japanese version of the game is not called Final Fight 3, it's called Final Fight 2. And for the life of me, I do not understand why that is the case. Also in the Japanese version, the enemy G is a black guy. And all the other versions, he's the white guy. The PAL version has access to the debug menu, just like in the beta version of the WoW. And you access that by pressing start and select at the Capcom menu screen. Now, other than that, there really aren't any too many much differences between versions. Now, as far as gameplay goes, Final Fight 3 to me represents how you correctly go from a game like Final Fight 2 and to go into something as diverse as Final Fight 3 because of the way you can now attack with the addition of the two new characters of Lucia and Dean that you can run and attack. You have additional, what I like to call command specials, and you also have the use of a new Super Ball when they read directly from Street Fighter of Super Turbo. So I'm like, this is just a great game all around. Now, before we get started, this music is called for Metro City. It's the theme for this game. In this the Street Fighter Alpha Anthology, that's Guy's thing when you play him in classic mode, and he's actually, I think, on the two-player side. That's the music that plays. So let's get started. Let me press start so it doesn't go in press down a couple times so it doesn't go in the demo mode. You got one-player mode, two-player mode, auto two-player mode. You play with the computer. Now, your mileage may vary, and we'll get into that, and we'll just hop in the option mode, and I'll try to drill all that out. Now, the option mode, you can select through 4 difficulties. I don't know if I did that fast enough. Easy, normal, hard, and expert. Now, the game levels, in this game don't affect endings. What affects the endings is who you beat it with and the choices that you make on how you approach your way through the game. Now, the only time you don't see an ending is when on easy, and it tells you to beat the game on a higher difficulty. So you take that for what it is. Now, the partner level, you can select from weak, normal, and strong. Just so you don't pull your hair out in auto two-player mode, just leave it on strong and just keep your sanity intact, okay? Cool. Now, you can change your buttons, extra, the attack, jump, and the extra joy button. Now, hold direction is something new. Now, what the hold direction does, which is kind of fun, which I'll get into, is that if you hold back while you're holding the hold direction button, it makes you moonwalk like you might. But the defensive thing about it is that when you hold it, what you can do is you can backstep without having to turn around, without turning around, because usually when you don't hold it, you have to turn around first and then backstep, but holding the hold direction button eliminates that, so it's all good. So for that, it's real good in defensive situations, so make use of it. That's why it's there. The hit config is just turned on and off to whether or not you can do enemy damage. If you don't care, just turn it off for your own sanity. And the sound mode. So let's get into it. The way I'm going to cover the characters is I'm just going to run them down a little bit, and I'm going to cover them as I personally turn them for myself. Now, a lot of people go at this different, so it is what it is. We're going to start with the top tier man himself. God, baby. Now, guys like this. Now, I will just run down, I will say this just a couple of things. God's weapon of choice is the nunchaku. It gives him a 4-hit combo. Everybody else just wields it like a crackhead. Now, Guy, as far as I'm concerned, the best character in the game. His standing attack is real good. His dashing combo is great, and they both go into the fireball blast, and that's his command special. It's just a quarter circle forward motion and the attack button. And that because he's more of the balanced character in this game, he has his speed and his power. It makes him a beast. So Guy is a monster. And Guy's special is called the 1,000 palm blast, and it's just a half circle back motion and the attack button in the grapple position. Just make sure that when you do it, don't have no enemies behind you, because when it starts the palm motion, you're vulnerable to getting hit. So be careful of that. Mayor Mike Hagar. Because of the gameplay changes, Hagar's a monster. There's no reason Hagar should ever be standing still. Hagar still does nasty damage. And the only reason he's not on top of Guy is because Guy still has the infinite. But in this case, it doesn't work on anything other than bosses, because most normal characters can like wiggle out of it anyway, because there's really no stun time for real. So you take that for what it is. Now, like I say, Hagar, monster. Still has the jumping power driver. His command special is called the Violent Axe, and it's just a Hadouken motion with the attack button. And what it does, he just does a double axe handle moving forward. It's a great combo with him, just like Guy's fireball blast. So you always want to use that. His special, the Final Atomic Crash, is that his super is just you get him in the grapple motion, press half circle back in the attack button, and watch the sparks fly. Hagar is a monster. Do not sleep on this man. I'm telling you. Believe me. Hagar beast, man. It's just that if God didn't have an infinite, man, I'd have to give Hagar top. But because God's a more well-rounded character, I got to give it to him. And one of our new characters, Miss Lucia. Now, what's kind of weird about Lucia is that she's like Chun-Li. But seriously, she has like moves like Chun-Li. Like her command special is a Dragon Punch motion and the attack button, and it's nothing but the Tensho Kikaku. Seriously. I'll show you guys in a minute. It is the Tensho Kikaku. Now her other move is that a move that I think was born in this game from Crimson Viper is her burning kick. Now you just do that by just jumping in the air and pressing quarter circle forward in the attack button in the air. Now me personally, depending on how you take it and who you ask, some people say Lucia is the worst character in the game. I just think personally Lucia is more of an expert true character because I use her. And I get a lot of good, and I get a lot of great out of her. She's my favorite character in the game, personally. It's just that you just need to give her more chance. The reason why a lot of people have issues with her is because it's hard to do her super. But I'm about to stun that right now. You do her super, press down 3 times instead of twice, and then forward in the attack button. She can do it either standing or in a combo. I suggest just doing it in the combo just because, you know what I'm saying, it does more damage that way and you have a better chance of landing. And something fun about her special is actually a combination of the Seretsu Kikaku into the Hazan Tensho Kikaku, though. 2 of Chun's special moves. And also there's a picture of her training with Chun-Li, so I don't know how much you can actually bring in the canon, but it's a real cool feature that, you know, technically you play with Chun-Li. This needs to be her next outfit for DLC for Super Street Fighter 4. Capcom, you know what to do. And Dean. Now, my thing with Dean is that Dean is not a bad character. It's just that everybody else in the game personally is just better than he is. It's that Dean walks like a Frankenstein. He does a little more damage than Guy, but moves slower than he does. Lucia moves faster, but Lucia has that damn good special with her hyper kick. It's just that Dean, he's decent, but you know, it's just that I wish Dean was better. But for that, you know, because everybody else does something better, I gotta give him bottom. Now, what's special about Dean is that he has 2 commands. He has called the extension grab, and that's just a Hadouken motion and attack, and it just brings him into a grapple position to do a grapple backward. And he has another move called the Jolt uppercut, and you just press the half a Tiger knee motion, which is from forward to up, so forward up, and then he just does an uppercut. Now his move, which I like to call the electric pulse slam, you just press down up in attack in the grapple position. But like I say, gain a decent currency is just that everybody else is just better than him in this case. So before we get out of here, let's hit up Lucia. Now, you're about to see why I'm about to give this game the 10 I'm about to give it. Is that it looks beautiful. The only thing that's kind of weird is that in two-player mode, it moves a little slow. You can't really do anything about that. It is what it is. You know, but it's still a great game. You know what I'm saying? You can get it on the virtual console now, all that stuff. And there's no reason for you not to be playing this game at all. I'm serious about that. There is no reason to be playing, not to be playing this mug, you know. So it is what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and get ready to get up out of here. Let me see if I can pull up. There we go. Look at this. This is why she is one of the best characters in this game. That move you just saw. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get out of here. You know what it is. Your boy Mr. Gasser in the building. Triple. Holla back.